I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called Igor Grom, Plague Doctor. When a mass vigilante killing spree throws a city into chaos, a renegade detective and his rookie partner are the only ones who could stop it. So it's a Russian action adventure film. It just came out. It's about 2 hours and 18 minutes long. Spoiler alert, let's get it. So it starts off with these little kids chasing a dog. They end up catching it in the net. They about to bash it with a rock. It's like, what the fuck? But right before he does it, this little kid comes to save the day. These niggas like, man, what you gonna do? Hey man, I'm about to give you the business. That's what I'm about to do. Then we go to present time by this guy by the name of Igor Grom. He's a police officer trying to catch these robbers that just robbed a bank on foot while they're driving a fucking van. And these robbers must not be that good because they got the door wide open, you know what I'm saying? Money's flying out and shit. So he's trying to come up with all these scenarios on how to catch the robbers. After they go through a fucking bus, he goes straight in and they bust off in his chest, holding the funeral for this man. Obviously that plan didn't work. Then he's got a plan where he's fighting him, he's getting dragged by the car, and dude kicks him out the car. Obviously that plan doesn't work. So this time he plans on staying on top of the car. He ends up gliding on the side of the car, but then they run him into another car. Obviously that doesn't work. Keep in mind, all these are scenarios he's playing out inside of his head while he's trying to catch the bad guys. Turns out what he ended up really doing was just sitting on the bus. Come on, let's be honest. Do you really expect a guy running to catch a fucking van? So he gets some water from the cop. And this is how the scenario really plays out. The cops have already built a wall that's keeping away. See, they got the wall built, but the robbers are planning to go straight through them. But right before they get there, here comes Igor with a dump truck and smashes the shit out of him. While his chief of command, Frank, is giving this celebratory speech, and they got a statue built up for somebody in command. Of course, Igor just happens to be coming down the same street with the ruckus and ends up running into the fucking statue. Yep, boss is pissed off. But he did catch the bad guys. Then I got this new recruit named Danny trying to join the police force. Random man complaining about his wallet being stolen. Chief comes back pissed off. This nigga Igor is actually sleeping in one of the holding cells. I'm like, why? And now the boss about to give him the 3rd degree. And these niggas taking bets on whether he's gonna get fired today. They place bets on his job like every week. Boss like, look man, you caused too much damage on these streets, costing millions. But I'm the best guy you got and locking up all the bad guys. So he's got termination papers. These niggas thinking they won the bet, he about to get fired. But the boss knows he needs him, so he crumples that shit up and throws it in the desk. He's still in the force, he's still around that kickhead. He gives his winnings to the old guy that lost his wallet and goes about his business. Then in other news, we got this guy named Krill, low-life scumbag. He's apparently on trial for killing this girl and raping her. He's done a lot of other nefarious things, but because his father's a billionaire, he skates out of a lot of that shit. The girl that he supposedly killed was this dude's sister. His name is Lyle. Igor's the one that brought Krill in, but he knows this case is fucked up, because the judge was paid off and Krill got off scot-free. Lyle's about to kill this nigga, but Igor is like, nah, yo, you don't want to be like him. He's like, man, we gotta do things the right way. But the system's corrupt. How we gonna do things the right way when judges are getting paid off and shit? Then he talks to this lady that happens to be Lyle's teacher. He gives her a business card and tells her to keep contact with her. Then he goes back home to his house. This place is a dump. House falling apart. He ain't got no food. All he's got is a damn rotten apple. Snacking on whipped cream and contemplating his life. Then we got these two guys named Survey and Ole. Survey's the one in the white. He's done a lot of things with technology, including smartphones and stuff like that. And he puts on this presentation. Afterwards, he freaks out when the news pops up and says Krill escaped prison. Survey's tripping, but Ole's like, man, we gotta do something about this shit. Like, man, we civilians, what the fuck we gonna do? So come to find out, Frank and Igor have a real close relationship. He's close to Frank, to his wife and all that stuff. They take on more of like a role of parent figures to Igor. Then he gets a call from the police station like, alright, what's going on here? Yeah. All of a sudden, we see this motherfucker get tossed through a window. Krill getting tossed, who the hell did it? And this guy comes through heavily armored with a bird mask on. He gets in his car, he's trying to get the fuck away. Then he shoots flames out of his gauntlets. Car explodes, Krill is dead. Apparently that was the call that Igor got because he was right behind, he saw the whole thing. Now this is a scene where he plays the scenario out again. He picks up a rock, tosses it at him and gets the arrest. That's what he's thinking, but that's not really happening. What really happened is he tossed the rock and this motherfucker caught it behind him. Yeah, you done fucked up. Now you get a clear version of this guy with the bird mask on. The flamethrower niggas got away and now he's back at the police station. They draw sketches of the victim. Now Igor always works alone, but today he's gonna be working with Daniel. So obviously his first target is gonna be Lyle because of the situation that happened with his sister. But Lyle said he had nothing to do with it. And he had a clean alibi that proved that he didn't. So then as Igor's heading back home, we get a situation where this girl's getting picked on by 2 thugs. Igor whips their candy ass. Then he helps her out and takes her in. Gets her all patched up, and she asks for a cup of tea. While he's getting the tea, she sneaks over towards his desk and copies some of the files that he has lying around. Of course, when he comes back, she done dipped out. It was all a setup. When she came back to the guy, she was like, yeah, I got everything, it's all good. He gave him some cheese, but when they asked for more, she ended up pepper spraying both of them. Getting back to her whip and driving off. Survey's looking up the news about Krill being dead, and a lot of people were saying good riddance to him. Apparently, Krill was not well liked. Then the dude with the bird mask shows up like, oh shit, what the fuck is he doing at Survey's office? And we found out the plague doctor was old the whole time. Oh shit. He talks about being a vigilante for justice by killing off these rich bottom-feeding scumbags. He said he think he's Batman, but the only difference is he's just killing people. But if you read the comics, you knew Batman did kill people. But Survey is like, dude, this is not the way about going about handling justice. Then the plague doctor is back at it again. This time he has this rich lady tied up in a building full of fire. Apparently she owns the bank that's been robbing poor people of their money for decades. He thinks she's the reason why a lot of people in the town are homeless. So to rectify this situation, he blows her the fuck up. It's like, god damn. In the process, a bunch of money comes out. He tells the people to pick it up. It's your money. So that's his quote unquote vigilante justice. So while Igor's investigating, here comes this douchebag named Sergio, and he's taking Igor off the case, talking about they can handle it. It's like some type of FBI squad taking over. So they put him on some case about the fridges, whatever fridges they're talking about. And of course they got Danny to tag along with him. So he's still gonna work on the plague doctor case anyway, but he's just gonna go through his underground connections to get there. He talks to this fish market hustler to get some information on niggas. Then he starts kicking doors down, fucking niggas up. But even after all that, they still come to a dead end. Then he has a one-on-one conversation with Survey. So in this one thing, they found out he purchased a lot of other equipment from a certain company. And this company is like a security company. This company literally charges everybody for everything, but somehow Sergio was able to get it for free. So Igor's antennas are up on Survey. Back to the police station for more clues. Then we see Natasha going back to her spot, and Igor found out where she lived at. He got the information back from her, and then washed her laptop of any information. No, legitimately washed her laptop, ran water all over this shit, like damn. Yep. Meanwhile, in the junkyard on the outskirts of town, the plague doctor's got this family tied up, and apparently he holds them responsible for the sewage companies. The water's so bad it kills like thousands of people a year. So he gets some vigilante justice and burns these niggas to death. This guy's more than deliver justice, he's just crazy. The Survey's trying to talk, stop killing people, you know what I'm saying? Or he's basically gonna go to the police. He's like, you can go to the police if you want, but you'll get in trouble too because you knew about the shit the whole time. And all the equipment's in your facility. So basically, he can't say shit. Daniel meets up with Igor, and they review all the notes. He tells him every time the plague doctor hits a target, it's going higher up the food chain. So they think they know who he's going to target next. So he gets his man to get him a fancy car, and he heads on over to this high-priced banquet. He thinks the target's supposed to be this guy. He's like the richest guy in the entire city. He made the Golden Dragon Company off the backs of slaves, as they want to put it. So Igor's like, okay, the plague doctor is definitely coming after this nigga. While he's there, he ends up spotting Natasha there. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And they work together for a little bit. Then the VIP room, Survey comes in to meet him. He's like, yeah, you making a big celebration, but we all know about how you came about your money. He was like, yeah, you made your money off the building, right? But the building was a national landmark. And because it got old, you slid in the back door to claim the property. So right before he had enough of this nigga, he's ready to kick him out. All of a sudden, some motherfucker drops out from the sky, and these niggas from the purge come through, taking over. Now while Daniel's at his desk doing paperwork, this nigga Sergio squeezes the information out of him. He knows they've been working on the case, and he pressured Daniel to snitch, which he did. Then while the craziness was going on, Survey tries to bargain with him, but they ain't having none of it. They kick his ass down the steps. And then all out beef starts happening. Then he kicks a mask off. One of the dudes happened to end up being Lyle. Like, oh shit. He's like, what the fuck are you doing with these niggas? Meanwhile, you got Natasha recording the whole thing. And then the ruckus all stops, so Sergio pops up. They lock up most of them niggas. He thanks Survey for the backup, so it's all gravy. This Sergio fires Igor because he violated direct orders. That no good piece of trash. Then Natasha was like, look, I got the footage on here. He takes a camera and breaks that shit. Why? I have no idea. Maybe it was information he didn't want out. Who knows? Back at the office, Sergio tells Frank he has to fire Igor, but he's going to send the paperwork to the higher-ups. Igor doesn't want the whole department to get in trouble, so he tells him to get the paperwork out the desk and he'll really sign it. And then he does. And the crowd actually won the bet. Obviously, they're sad that they won. Then he gives it to Daniel. He's like, yeah, thanks for being my partner. I know you was in a tight situation, but blah, blah, this. You snitched on your mans. Pressure busting pipes and all that shit. Later on, he's chilling at Frank's house. Frank's like, man, why don't you get a girl or something, man? He ends up going to Natasha's house, giving her a new phone. And he apologizes to her for everything. Then he's back out in the street eating sandwiches. Then he sees some bite-rotten niggas with masks. And he starts thinking about Lyle. So he goes to talk to that teacher he gave a card to a while ago. And she lets him inspect Lyle's room and all his things. And he has a couple things with Survey and O. And he has this one diary who has a lot of bird drawings, right? A lot of them look just like the mask that he was wearing. Then he goes to talk to Survey one more time. Then it has all this mountain of evidence on stuff. Come to find out in the paperwork, the guy we know is old. It says he died a couple years ago. So the person we seen as old throughout this movie is not real. Turns out Survey's got a split personality. And it's actually him that's the fucking plague doctor. Then we get the flashback to the kid, and now we know the kid was Survey when he was younger. Now, Survey had said to save the dog at the beginning of the movie, but what happened to the three boys? Yeah, these three boys. Turns out he caught them slipping and burnt them alive in a shack. Damn, he been on some shit since he was a kid. Somehow throughout all this, he ended up knocking out Igor. Then he keeps talking about bringing in a new world. So basically, while Igor was knocked out, Survey put the plague doctor uniform on him and set him on a rooftop for the police to know his exact location, so they could think Igor is the plague doctor. Igor tries to get away, but he ends up getting caught. And now the police for sure think he's the plague doctor. What he doesn't know is Natasha's about to come through and bail him out. So of course Sergio's gonna be fucking with him for a minute. So Survey is happy while Igor is rotting in a holding cell. Frank don't believe Igor did it, but what can he do about the evidence at this point right now? Natasha disguises herself to get in and give Igor a key so he can get the fuck out of there. there. So when they tried to lock him up again, he got loose. But actually, Daniel was at the back door to bust him out too. That's right, Daniel, you owed them for snitching. Natasha was there in the back to pick him up like, come on, niggas, get the fuck in the car. So they go to this spot, they gotta work out their game plan. Who the heck is spying on these niggas? Nobody was spying on them, I'm just fucking with y'all. It was Daniel. They locked Daniel in a spot somewhere. Because Igor and Natasha wanted to get some alone time. She's like, look, man, you stay safe, you come back to me, because you know we gotta get it popping eventually. Then he heads back to the building, and now it's Igor versus Survey. Spraying fire and all that shit. Now, because all of Survey's videos been broadcasted, you got people out there that love vigilante justice and they support the Plague Doctor. So when a certain spot in the area blows the fuck up, as law watches the destruction, it was all part of Survey's plan. He wanted the world to go to anarchy, purging and all that. Stealing from the rich, looting on the streets, leaving rich white people scared to death. Even Lagos is one spot that they have a target on. He's supposed to cause damage and take money. Meanwhile, Igor's in trouble fighting Survey. Then he gets some help from Daniel with a fire extinguisher, water hose and niggas, and Natasha helped him out too because they his real friends. Then it comes down to scenario time for Igor. One scenario sees him burnt up falling out the window. Yeah, sir, that's not gonna work. Next scenario is near Daniel, where Daniel gets burnt to a crisp. Yeah, that's not gonna work. This is a scenario where he's looking at Tasha. He turns around. She gets burnt up to a crisp. Yeah, it's not going to work either. This scenario where he has him in a leg lock. Tries to burn him. They both end up falling. All right, here comes the real one. Fuck all that tackling, he ends up grabbing him by his legs, he's about to toss him. All you see is the gauntlet falling out the window, exploding and shit, and his partner's hanging on to him for dear life. Meanwhile, more anarchy on the streets. But at one point, they thought Frank was dead, but Frank was like, fuck that shit, I'm alive. There was a point where Rob was gonna rob and almost kill the dude, but he found out he had kids, so he was like, fuck that shit, I'm dipping. He drops his mask, he's like, man, I don't want to be part of this shit. The guy and his kids are safe. The police come through, locking all these purge niggas up, and then they got Survey tied up, like, what are we gonna do? Survey starts talking, basically saying that you escaped out of jail, the police still think it's you, and you're still gonna go out to jail, meanwhile, I'm gonna go scot-free. So this nigga says, fuck it, I'm pushing him out the window. And tosses him out the window! Of course, that's what he was thinking, that's not really what happened. What really happened is she still already had the footage of everything, all she needed was his confession, which he didn't realize she was recording. So basically, yeah, you're fucked. They get back downstairs, sees the chief still alive, Sergio still talking his shit. Frank tees off on his bitch ass to tell your mans get the fuck out of here with that whack shit. Chief got his balls back and everything's happy. But in the news report he did give him most of the credit though. And that's all Sergio bitch ass wanted anyway. Then they go on the rooftop chilling in Paris. Then it's time for the lovey-dovey, time to give her the business. But we don't see that in this movie, it don't happen. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. But now it's time for some bonus scenes. Whatever happened to Survey? It looks like he's on Leonardo DiCaprio's Shutter Island and shit. He's basically in a mental institution talking to his alter ego saying, this ain't over yet, we gonna be out of here soon. Then we get another clip somewhere in Iraq, and they're watching the news about Survey on TV, and O was the one watching, oh shit, this nigga really is alive. So what kind of mission was he on where he had to fake his death? Well, he's over in Iraq, so who knows. Wonder if they're gonna make a part 2 to this. Major Grom Plague Doctor on Netflix. Check it out, like, click, subscribe, do all that, you know, top of this, like, these, other, easy, mister. Big, goddamn slogan.